Good morning. I am Reverend Jessica Clay, the lead minister here. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church, where we rise up hand in hand together. Leading this service with me today are Reverend Jack, Amy, Rack, our choir, thank you choir, Kathleen, and Kiara. Welcome on this annual Sunday where we remember that courage is contagious and hope is born in small acts each day.
And welcome, visitors. We are so glad you are here. If you want to get to know more about us, feel free to stop by the Welcome Center in the atrium. If you're visiting with children, know that they are welcome to remain with you during the service or join us for our children's chapel for all ages following the story. If people of any ages get the wiggles, you are welcome to find things to interact with in our Soul Work Center just back there. And additionally, nursery care is provided at each service. As always, we welcome the noises, movements, and mirth that little ones bring to our services.
To share a request for today's meditation, please place it in the meditation bowl right over there in the Soul Work Center or on the chat box on Zoom. Thank you for trusting us to hold your joys and sorrows. Also know that we are launching a Connection Circles program starting in February that runs just through April, a 3-month place to connect in small groups, just 6 sessions, so every 2 weeks. Stay tuned to learn more in the e-news. Also know that today we have a special social hour after both services to have you connect with people in the same geographical groupings as you to get to know your neighbors better. So please do show up in the social hall for that, and we'll meet momentarily before breaking you up into small groups. And last but not least, we do have our doors locked right now. We need more people willing to be door monitors to let people in when they arrive. So if that's you, please let me know. Otherwise, there is a sign-up sheet that should be findable through each edition of the e-news.
And does the sound different this morning? It does. There's a new speaker. Turns out one of the speakers was broken. I've been telling people, oh, the sound just disappears up in the top. It literally disappears because the speaker was broken. So we ask you to have grace with us and grace with Erin as she figures out the sound levels with our new speaker and something in the back that she told me that I can't remember what it is. Not in my portfolio. She's the expert over there. So speaking of how things are going, this Wednesday night at 6:30, we're having another town hall. We invite you all to join either in person or on Zoom. And if you're in person, we have a community meal beforehand at 5:30 that all are welcome at. So this Wednesday, 6:30 town hall, 5:30 community meal. We hope to see you there. And we, as your staff, and I'm speaking for your board of directors, we all want to provide these opportunities to talk to you, to find out what your concerns are, let you know about what's going on in the life of the church. And we've heard a lot of feedback about Zooming the second service. So as of next week, we will resume Zooming the second service again. We've heard your feedback. We are responsive to it. And with that, welcome to our church. Together we grow our souls and serve the world in love. And now if you open up your order of service, you will see our call to worship today is responsive, which means you have a part in it. So this is by Reverend Rebecca Edmondson Lang, and you are going to say the bold words. Come in. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. come into this place.
Good morning. My name is Kiara Kerrigan. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a senior at Roseville Area High School. I was going to come up here and talk about a more broad topic or something environmental because it's what I have the most experience with. But after the last few weeks, I felt like what's going on in Minnesota right now is a lot more relevant. It's horrifying to me that there's so much hate in our country and that anyone can treat people the way ICE has treated immigrants and Minnesota natives the past few weeks. Like I know many of you are, I'm scared for my friends and my family, for people I barely know, and for people I've never even met. Even though I'm scared, seeing all the protests, walkouts, and communities helping each other has given me a little bit of hope. One thing I know about being a Minnesotan is that we're there for our neighbors. That's one way that Minnesota Nice goes past the surface. This past Monday, students at my school organized a walkout against ICE. We had hundreds, if not over 1,000 students walk out. It was amazing to see so much students support and hear speeches from other students about their experiences. What I thought was even better was how supportive our community was of the walkout. Roseville PD lined the streets to block any traffic and anyone from coming near us during the walkout. Community members joined us, and we were even featured on the news. Our school's also been doing a great job of having teachers outside when kids enter or leave the building and changing their bus routes. All of these good things aside, it's horrible that our schools have to be focused on protecting students from our government rather than on giving them an education. I want to make the point that I think it's incredibly important for those of us who are white and able to be using our privilege to speak out against the racism and horrible treatment our Black and brown neighbors are experiencing. Just because we're currently not the target and aren't being affected personally, it can be easy to try and pretend that everything's fine. But what's going on in our communities every day is everything but that. This isn't to say anyone should stop trying to find the joy in everyday life, because I know it's also incredibly easy to get caught up in all of the negative things and lose hope. But basically, it's about finding the balance between those two things. Finding some time dedicated to help your community and speak out against hate in our country. And some time gathering together with your loved ones or doing the simple things that bring you joy, like reading a good book. I light this chalice for the many families who have been separated or are struggling to stay safe right now, and for everyone who has been speaking up. Please join me in the opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you.
Please rise and body your spirit for the singing of our first hymn, which is number 155 in your gray hymnal, Circle Round for Freedom. We'll sing it 3 times.
For our story time this morning, I invite anyone young or young at heart who wants to get a little closer to the action to come on forward. Some of you may already know this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. More than a decade ago, it was not legal in most states for men to marry men and for women to marry women. A few states had legalized same-sex marriage, and there were some states that were trying to keep it illegal by passing amendments to their state's constitution. Right here in Minnesota, there was such a group. This group wanted to ensure that even into the future, marriage would only be between one man and one woman. And people at this church and a lot of other people around our state fought against this very amendment. They had a campaign that encouraged all Minnesotans to vote no against this proposed amendment that would limit marriage. And the campaign was focused on one-on-one conversations. People were encouraged to talk to their neighbors, their families, or even to go door to door, knocking on people's houses, having one-on-one conversations, explaining how this law would affect them and their families. Many of you were involved in that campaign. And during that time, this congregation created a paper chain to indicate how many conversations we had. It would have looked something like this. But instead of having only 5 links, it was very large. The people of this congregation at that time were encouraged to come to church on Sundays and to add a link to this paper chain to continue lengthening it. And it looked something like this. It was a beautiful act, and that paper chain got very full and was used as a symbol of resistance against the proposed amendment and a symbol of joy and hope at the prospect of broadening the definition of marriage. One of you just last week came into my office and suggested that we do the same thing again right now, in this moment. There's an injustice happening right now in our streets, against our neighbors, limiting the life, liberty, and happiness of fellow citizens and residents of this state and this land. These attacks have been primarily aimed at people of color, even including indigenous people who were here before any immigrants came. This moment demands resistance, and that resistance will take many different shapes and sizes, as we talked about last week, and requires all of us to do a part of it. Last week, I encouraged you all to think about the ways you'll resist in ways big and small in this current moment of injustice. And now this week, we begin to make our own paper chain. The invitation for all of us is to find acts of resistance throughout our week. And then when we come to church on Sundays, to write down those acts of resistance on the slip of paper, creating more links on a paper chain. We already have protest, school patrol, delivering groceries, signal chats, and protest training. So this basket is going to be out there by the window with the twinkle lights, and I invite you today after the service to add your chain and for the next few Sundays. It's vital right now to be in this community, to build a sense of community with each other, but not just a sense of community that stays with us, but a sense of community that mobilizes us for good and for justice making amidst the pain and despair present right now. I hope you'll join me and add a paper link this week. And now we sing our children and youth out to their kids club. Please join me. Go Lift It Up is number 1057 in your teal hymnal. Will you please rise in body or spirit this morning for a moment of prayer or meditation? Take a moment to sink more deeply into this moment. Connect to your body. You're invited to place your hands on your heart or maybe hold hands with a loved one. Let's connect right now with our hearts and with each other. This morning we pause in this place of stillness and quiet, and we recognize that our words are inadequate for the gravity of the moment. And yet, shaping our hopes and our dreams into words is a radical act of hope, and we need that hope this morning. Spirit of life and love that connects us all, God of 1,000 names and beyond all naming. We stand here in the presence of the generations that have come before us. We acknowledge the wisdom and the commitment and the inspiration of leaders that have shaped our past, that have inspired our ancestors towards action, towards building a more just world. And we live in that world right now. And though that world might be a more just world than the previous one, there is more work to do. It will take more communal hands to continue the work of bending the moral arc of the universe towards justice. This morning, we recommit ourselves to the radical yet simple act of caring for our neighbors. We commit to knowing our neighbors and knowing how to support them, especially when there are forces at play that benefit from our disconnectedness, from not knowing what's happening to our neighbors. This morning, we pray for resilience and connection and resistance in the face of tyranny and injustice. We pray that the bonds between us are strengthened and fortified and galvanized right here in this moment. And from that place of connection, we hold various members of this community in light and in love. Prayers for Shirley Soderstrom, mother of Tina, who is experiencing kidney failure and is opting not to continue chemotherapy. She is now entering hospice. Prayers of care and support as each of them journeys this path. Prayers this morning for board president Carol Hensler, who is in the hospital recovering from an illness. Here we have a request for my neighbor, his girlfriend, and their loved ones. They were taken by ICE, though here legally. We can't find him in the database and have no idea where he was taken. For the teachers holding and guiding their students through this. A prayer here from Jerry Yans, remembering my sister Linda, always a gentle soul, who passed away peacefully on January 7th. Please know how deeply appreciated the kind and compassionate outreach of this community has been to all of the family of Shirley Wild, who transitioned on January 4th. And now, out of this stillness and into it, we name our own prayers and concerns out loud so they can be also held here in this community. Speak them now. Knowing that we are stronger together than we are alone. May it be so, and amen. Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Each week, we collect for our offering plate, and a couple weeks a month, we send the entire plate out the door to a worthy organization. Today's special collection supports the Black Student Union at White Bear Lake area schools. Your contribution helps fund for a third year this powerful tour experience of historically Black colleges and universities for high school students of color. Students will visit and explore higher education opportunities. They will connect with speakers and leaders who share their backgrounds. And therefore, students can envision themselves as future college students and community leaders. Also, please join us January 28th, Wednesday evening, to hear Aaron Turner, the Black Student Union advisor, tell us more about this amazing tour opportunity and the effect he's seen on the students who participated in previous trips. Today, you can stop at the Facing Race table in the social hall to learn more. Thank you for helping to open doors and create opportunities for our young people in our community. Our offering will now be gratefully collected.
Thank you, choir. Our reading today is adapted from Land of 10,000 Lakes by Ollie Schminke. Land of cabins and bonfires and beer, land of ope and you betcha. And I'm just going to sneak right past you. Land of cream of mushroom soup, land of tater tot hot dish. Land of shoveling your neighbor's sidewalk, land of holding open the door. Land of the loon's call across the lake. Land of the northern lights painting the sky. Land of the wilderness and the wild. Land of the Mississippi River's birth. Land of small things turning mighty.
Land of tear gas pluming against an umbrella. Land of children too scared to go to school. Land of boots and camo and guns. Land of SUVs flooding the streets. Land of masked men at my favorite gas station. Land of masked men demanding to see your papers. Land of masked men kicking doors down. Land of masked men choking people I know. Land of masked men brutalizing high school students.
Land of whistles shrieking in the night. Land of whistles shrieking in the morning. Land of whistles shrieking in the afternoon. Land of crying in your car. Land of bullets and shovels and brooms. Land of people stolen from their cars and their jobs and their homes. Land of those who are left. Land of neighbors. Land of this is your home, no matter where you come from. Land of whistles. Land of crowds. Land of kicking the tear gas back under the SUV. Land of sex shop turned community center. Land of grocery store drop-offs. Land of community patrol. Land of signal chats and zines. Land of printing in multiple languages. Land of you belong here and we will prove it. Land of proving it. Land of learning that love is a verb. Land of finding out exactly who you are and what you are made of.
Land of drums and song and rally. Land of all-night noise outside of any hotel that dares house the devil. Land of ice agents slipping on ice. Land of winter and frostbite. Land of nature as our first love and ally. Land of tater tot hot dish, discreetly delivered. Land of cabins, offered for a safe place to rest. Land of the northern lights, our cell phone screens flashing luminous across the internet as we film. Land of 10,000 neighbors. Land of small things turned mighty. Land of the Minnesota goodbye. Didn't you know we are bad at saying goodbye to those we love? We could stay here all night, shoes on in the entryway, refusing to open the door.
Please stay seated as we sing together one of Martin Luther King's favorite hymns, Precious Lord, Take My Hand, number 199 in the Gray Hymnal.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, and I am worn. This hymn was written by Thomas Dorsey, who is known as the father of Black gospel music. He wrote this hymn in the midst of his despair. His wife and infant son had died in childbirth. He was lost and grieving, and his friend took him to a piano and told him to play. And this is what came out. He then brought it to the congregation he served as the music director the following Sunday. This was Atlanta's Ebenezer Baptist Church, and the minister at that congregation was Reverend Martin Luther King Sr. And it resonated, and over time, as Reverend Jack said, it became Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorite. It is a crying out, a pleading for accompaniment. Precious Lord, take my hand. Precious love, take our hands. We are tired, we are weak, we are worn. In this day and age, with our hearts practicing necessary hardness upon exiting our homes, it's all too easy to listen to this hymn and be cynical, especially because I know there are many atheists and humanists in the room who hear the word Lord and immediately tune out. But when I hear it, I hear the word love. Precious love, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, and I am worn. Dear people of White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church, I am tired, are you? I am weak and I am worn. And it's too easy to be cynical about what's happening, to give over to despair that is constantly knocking at our doors. But the more difficult path is choosing hope. It's choosing to see the small acts of resistance all around us. James Baldwin said, "Hope is invented every day." And as I sat here listening to the choir, watching the snow fall behind you, my hope well was replenished. So thank you for that. Hope is invented every day. So if hope is invented every day, this is not a hope that's rooted in everything's just going to work out. This is a hope that is still rooted in reality. It's naming the truth of what's happening, like Kiara invited us to in the chalice lighting. It is saying the F word. Now, many of you have said, shouted, cursed many different manner of F words recently, and the F word I'm talking about here is fascism. It's naming the truth of what's happening, being so clear about that, and then moving from that place of naming with courage and hope guiding your way. Many of you may remember how courage and hope guided Bishop Marion Buddy, who preached the sermon at the National Cathedral right after the inauguration a year ago. So she recently spoke this past December at the Westminster Forum here in the Twin Cities. Some of you were in attendance. One of you felt moved to send me a note about how powerful it was, and so I watched it. It's very powerful. You can find it on YouTube. So she spoke about courage being contagious. And she said, young people do not need your cynicism right now. She was speaking to the elders in the room. So if you are of a certain age, you've probably developed a healthy dose of cynicism. I do not exclude myself from this. But that's not what we need to give each other right now. What we need to give each other is courageous hope. This is why we are bringing back this paper chain that Reverend Jack spoke of, a physical reminder of our acts of resistance. How many of you have seen small acts of resistance this week? And I'm sure many of you were part of them as well. And of the 60+ households watching online, I'm sure many of you are raising your hands as well. One of our Unitarian Universalist core values is interdependence. I preach about it all the time. It's a favorite. And it's grounded upon the fact that we belong to each other and we are responsible for each other. Our shared theology is love, love that grounds us and inspires us to move forward. And that love, that precious love, it takes our hands. It says, you belong here. You are not alone here. You are connected to me. And each of us has a spark of the divine. There are plenty of reasons for despair. Despair is seductive and easy. And there are moments when we need to be with it for a moment. And what's true is that hope is born here every day. What's true is that this community around us shows up for people. You are showing up for us, your staff. We feel it. We are showing up for each other as detailed in our reading. We take our core theology of love at the center and we move from that place of care for each other. So a story for you. Last November, I preached about how the holidays were hard for me because of difficult anniversaries. And on Christmas Eve, I found on my desk a wooden carved heart made by one of you with a story attached to it that it came from a plum tree. And this wood is very soft, wet wood, the heart of the plum tree. And when it dries, it cracks. And so I received it wrapped in plastic wrap, and I thought it was so beautiful. And that the person wrote me a note and said, after hearing my story of heartbreak, they felt moved to give this to me. So I left it out on my counter to cure. I went to my parents for the holidays, and while I was there, I learned of the tragic death of my cousin. I returned home, and the heart had cracked. And I traveled to the funeral the week before last, and I called this person and said, can you give me another one for my aunt? And he carved it within a day. This is what we do for each other, because what's true is the world and what's happening in our cities is breaking our hearts, but we also are all going through personal griefs and personal losses. This is what we do. We show up for each other. As Reverend Jack reminded us, when Keith Ellison was in this pulpit, he said, make art. The art that you're making, the beauty that you're creating in the world, it matters. I have talked to so many people this week who are crying all the time, disassociated and struggling. So make art, seek support. This is what will get us through. There are plenty of reasons for despair, but around us, this community around us, you are a community that shows up. There are people here that this past week have delivered groceries to people afraid to leave their homes, people within this community that are helping to meet kids at buses and make sure they get to their homes safely. There are people here that when I send out a message and say, we need you at the Stillwater City Council meeting tomorrow night, 15 of you show up. I sent a message to many of you this week saying there's a direct action training in Stillwater on Sunday, and we have 18 people signed up so far. And we are bringing one here. We're just waiting on a date. You are a people who show up because you know that our shared humanity is what draws us together, inspires us, and allows us to move from that place. We can name the truth of what's happening, that horrible acts are happening, being paid for by our tax dollars, and that horrible truths have happened for a long time. And there is still good if we look for it. You are a people that know that hope is created each day, and when I start to lose it, you remind me of it. This weekend being Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, we honor his history and the hope that he brought. He preached a theology of community care, of going towards each other, of interdependence. He issued a call for religious leaders to come to the March on Selma on March 7th, and many Unitarians came. March 7th, does anyone remember the year? 67, I think. And many Unitarians came, and some lost their lives there. This past week, March and a queer multi-faith organizing group out of Minneapolis issued a call to clergy to come to Minnesota to organize and march this coming week. And by my count, we have over 60 colleagues coming to town this week. This is our Selma moment, and we all have a part in this. And as details come out, I'm going to let you know. It's all being formed. So some of you remember that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave the Ware Lecture to the UU General Assembly, which is the annual gathering of Unitarian Universalists, in 1966, where he told Unitarians, they were Unitarian Universalists at that point. Unitarian Universalists, do not sleep through the revolution. And he was a socialist. He believed that we are responsible for each other and that the only way to get through is to build networks together. In writing a letter to his girlfriend at the time, then wife, Coretta, he said, and it's adapted for language, I imagine you already know that I am much more socialistic in my economic theory than capitalistic. And yet I'm not so opposed to capitalism that I've failed to see its relative merits. It started out with a noble and high motive to block the trade monopolies of nobles. But like most human systems, it fell victim to the very thing it was revolting against. So today, capitalism has outlived its usefulness. It has brought about a system that takes necessities from the masses to give luxuries to the classes. Our economic system is going through a radical change, and certainly this change is needed. Let us continue to hope, work, and pray that in the future we will live to see a warless world, a better distribution of wealth, and a personhood that transcends race or color. This is the gospel that I will preach to the world. That was many years ago. How many of you heard that and thought, that sounds good, but here comes that easy cynicism again. Beloveds, we have to believe that another world is possible and work from that place. To name the truth of what's happening, to envision other possibilities, don't sleep through the revolution. Find your lane, find your people, as my colleague Reverend Rachel Hayes says. And part of what the resistance looks like now is through mutual aid networks. So mutual aid is a term that comes out of socialism. It means communities helping each other as opposed to charity. Charity is top down. It's often money given without relationship. Charity is often hierarchical and creates dependency focused on symptoms rather than root causes. Mutual aid is neighbors helping neighbors. Mutual aid is reciprocal support that empowers everyone to give and receive. So mutual aid, as part of socialism, is one part of how we are responsible to each other. It's people like the vice president at the UUA of Congregational Life, Reverend Ashley Haran, who has been in this pulpit before. She was live streaming what was happening on the streets the week before last, and then saying, if you want to help support this community, then I will move money into the community. And she would post on Facebook accountability posts like, I gave $500 to a single mother who needed help paying the bills. I paid $1,000 for someone's rent. To date, she has moved $35,000 into her community. It's pretty amazing, right? Now there are organizations that are taking the money. So I was texting with her last night and she was like, I actually want people to stop sending me money because there's organizations, but she saw a need and she helped to make it happen. Mutual aid is listing the ways that so that you are accountable that you use the money. It's based on trust. And for those of you who might be thinking cynically about this, remember, cynicism is easy. Going the way of curiosity and trust and knowing that together we have enough is a much harder way, but results in a stronger fabric of community. It is anti-fascist and anti-capitalist. Today we are invited to generosity, to cultivate a generous spirit with yourself and each other. People are struggling, and courage is contagious. Let's not give each other cynicism, but hope. And if you are struggling, remember that we are here to help. We have a minister's discretionary fund. If you know someone that is struggling, that needs help, please let Reverend Jack or myself know. Not in the receiving line after the service. Please send us an email is the best, or call us. We know that liberation requires all of us. We are bound up together in this inescapable network of mutuality that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke of. And remember that no act of rebellion, however futile it appears in the moment, is wasted. Like Reverend Jack preached about last week, what resistance looks like is wide and varied. Fascism and capitalism tell us we're only in it for ourselves. They tell us that our individual needs supersede everything else, and just to pull up our bootstraps with our cowboy individualism, and that's what matters. But coming to church, coming to this church and other churches like it, is countercultural. It's reminding you that we are responsible for each other, that resistance happens in community, that mutual aid happens in community, and that hope is born here. For those of you who are thinking, I have been protesting for over 50 years. I am tired. It's time for other people to take it up. There are still ways you can help. Maybe that looks like babysitting for someone so they can go to a rapid response training. Maybe that looks like giving money to someone collecting for mutual aid. Maybe it's giving to our minister's discretionary fund. One of the primary ways that those who are not able to be on the streets within this congregation can help is through wealth redistribution. It's saying, I have more than enough, and I see that there are people who don't, and I am here to make society more just. Find your lane, find your people. So, beloveds, find your lane and find your people. Surround yourself with people who will do this with you. Nobody needs to do this work alone. Speaking of which, please do not go to any protest alone. Always go with a buddy. Have a buddy that you keep track of each other. Do not go it alone. Remember that our responsibility towards each other happens in community. And go tenderly with people with marginalized identities right now. For trans people, for people of color, go tenderly, because for those of us with more privilege, the fear that we're experiencing is just a little bit of what people with more marginalized identities have felt for their entire lives. And also, I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm just going to say it. If you are white, please do not ask any person of color their immigration status or ask them a lot of questions about where they're from, as if implying it's not from here. I know this is from a place of concern, but please don't. And remember to go tenderly with each other, to go with care towards each other and generosity of spirit. Gentleness and less is more are invitations for us right now. My last ask for you today, I hope you're taking a lot of notes, is to stay after, to find your neighborhood group, to be in your community group. Find people who live near you so you can share this load of what it means to show up for communities right now. And there are instructions for each group as well. So you will head to the social hall, and either Reverend Jack or Amy will be giving the instructions so that you can find each group. Find your lane, find your people. Maybe you're not in a position to go and deliver groceries or to be at the bus stop, but maybe you're in the position where you could coordinate that from home. Acts of resistance happen in many different ways. Maybe you could write notes in Spanish to put in care packages that people are dropping off, saying you are loved, you are welcome here, because that matters. Please keep coming to church as if your life depends on it, because for some here it does. Community is going to get us through this. Not everyone is going to make it, but this community is here to help hold each other with whatever continues to happen. Also, as Reverend Jack mentioned in the announcements, we're starting connection circles in February that are going to be 6-week groups to connect and build community here. Additionally, the Raising Racial Consciousness Steering Committee is leading conversations after a few services starting next weekend for people to process what's going on and share their acts of resistance. I have no doubt that the links on this paper chain are going to grow. Precious love, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, and I am worn. Oh, precious love of this community, with our hearts cracked open, help us take down the walls that divide us and go towards each other. Take down these walls so deep inside us. Help us to remember that courage is contagious and no one needs our cynicism. Find your lane, find your people right now. With all your heart and soul, reach out and make us whole. When all resistance falls, take down these walls. Accompany each other, precious loves. Amen. Please rise for our benediction. Take down these walls. Thank you, choir. Reverend Jack just reminded me that you sang that at his ordination. So very sweet, very beautiful. So I have a closing poem for you. So I invite you to place your hand on your heart, or if you are standing with someone you know, you can connect hands with them if they are comfortable with that, with consent. Our closing poem is Building the World We Believe In by Rosemary Watola Trommer. I haven't given up on humans yet. Though here in America, where masked agents pull people from their homes, people who build our communities, our country, we are so far from the goodness I imagine. In second grade, I remember making forts at recess with small snowballs we'd squeeze in our hands. So carefully, so gently, we would place them one on top of another to create a small home. And then maybe every time when the recess bell rang, a group of boys would linger, and at the last moment, they would kick our snow walls down. It's in all of us, the bully, the one who enjoys destruction, the one who wants to feel powerful and strong. But it is also in all of us to speak out for each other, to stand up for each other, to say, no, this is not okay. It is in us, all of us, to gather the way we did in second grade with our small mittened hands, going out the next recess and the next and the next, to build together again, because we can. Let us build together, dear ones.